So excited, it's the end of the story. Pity to be in the presence of water and to die from thirst. Tonight, the sky was strong, like spilled indigo ink on a ready canvas, with a new moon that was sharp as a diamond looking down over all of this. Slinking, pad-pawing, as if weightless, across the great, unforgiving Icky Bog swamp. The ancient, water-loving panther creature born with the Icky Bog itself could smell good fortune in the calm air tonight. The Wampus Cat hunkered way down low on its 5 paws and took in everything. A scent of moonshine vapor, arrhythmic vibrations in the mud, a scent of mud and stink. No, mud and 2 stinks. Could it be? It thought, 300 years and my old friends came back to play in the mud with me. The Wampus Cat did ever so much love games. It wondered what kinds of games the old friends thought they were really playing. The Wampus Cat went into the stream, and an overgrown Kuliev tried to hug it, but the great cat swatted it, sending it flying. Now, in the water, and utilizing the most stealth, the Wampus Cat headed for the party. Esme and Jasper, now the Swamp Witch and Skunk Ape, were frolicking in a slick mud field, covered head to toe with a 10-gallon vat of moonshine in the near distance. Esme and Jasper were elated in the play of it. Purpose was nearly forgotten. The duo held each other face to face, laughing when everyone heard a tiny roar. "Devil Cat!" Maccabee had spotted the Wampus Cat sneaking up on Esme and Jasper and launched himself in the way. There was a green flash of light, and Old Man Maccabee lay motionless in the mud. He had been a zombie for far too long, said a voice that was warm as swamp breeze and sounded like wind through the banyans. The Wampus Cat licked a front paw and decorously pulled up its nose and back over its head, smoothing its fur as if some great exorcism had just been performed. "Pray tell," came the sweetly baited and vertiginous voice of the ancient spiritual feline, "this scene is far too familiar, and you don't have a leg to stand on if you want to play games with me, witch." The Wampus Cat paused, lowered down on its 3 forelegs. Forelegs meaning it has 2 sets of shoulder legs. Forelegs, not 4 forelegs like a head. Yeah. And continued, now on smoking green vapors with teeth bared. "Oh, that's right. Yes, you do have a leg to stand on." The Wampus Cat was once again bum-rushed by the Skunk Ape and temporarily knocked off balance, the two of them rolling through the mud like a black and tan tangle of limbs and fur. This moment gave the Swamp Witch opportunity, and it was not wasted. The Wampus Cat struck the Skunk Ape, who flew some distance sideways, but unfazed, which had given enough space opened up between the Swamp Witch and the Wampus Cat for advances to be made by both. The great panther creature charged, roaring and exposing its full set of lethal teeth. One by one, the Swamp Witch plunged both feet deep down into the slick mud, standing her ground, raising her hands high to the brilliant new moon, and shouted, "O Zuralari Ben Yura!" Immediately, hundreds of banyan tree limbs and vines shot skyward from the mud directly in the Wampus Cat's path and imprisoned it in a great tangle-ball cage. "Well done," said the Wampus Cat. "Would you care to engage in more civilized combat?" "What's on your mind?" asked the Swamp Witch. From inside its banyan tree prison, the great Wampus Cat, oldest and most powerful being, second to none in the whole of the Icky Bog swamp, let its eyes flash and flare green, and with curled lips said, "Riddles to 10, first to falter loses. If we tie, I may let you live, if you can offer me something of value." The Swamp Witch agreed, and so began the life and death game of riddles to 10. Esme began. "What walks on 4 legs in the evening?" she said. The Wampus Cat replied, "Your sense of humor is uncouth and lacks decorum." "Man," said the Wampus Cat. "What is black when clean and white when dirty?" "A chalkboard," said Esme. "What can go through glass without breaking it?" "Sunlight," said the cat. "What is always in front of you but cannot be seen?" "The future," said Esme. "What goes through cities and fields but never moves?" "A road," said the great cat, now yawning. "What gets broken without being held?" "A promise," said Esme. "What kind of tree can you carry in your hand?" "A palm," replied the Wampus Cat, now standing in the cage, its words picking up cadence. "What is the day a man learns the most about himself?" "The day his father died," shouted Esme, matching cadence and tone with the captive cat. "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" "A joke," sneered the Wampus Cat, who now slowed his cadence and with perfect elocution asked the last riddle, making it sound as warm as swamp breeze. "Take off my skin, I will not cry, but you will. What am I?" Not sensing the pomp and circumstance that the Wampus Cat was trying to present, she blurted out, "An onion! We tied!" "Well done indeed," said the Wampus Cat from inside his tangle sphere cage. "I yield for now. What of other business?" Esme, feet still buried in the mud, retracted the banians and pointed at the vat of moonshine. The Wampus Cat slinked over to it, drank its contents completely, and returned, and said again, grooming itself before it spoke, "I will grant you fulfillment of one wish. You may proceed." Esme remembered exactly what Maccabee had told her and said aloud, "I wish for your pelt." The Wampus Cat walked over to the Swamp Witch, her face even with its nose, and it opened its lethal maw, exposing its teeth and venom glands, pumping sedum clear fluid running down its upper canines and pooling in the jaw. Breath like moonshine, and saying in a sickeningly sweet tone, "Granted." Instantly, both the Wampus Cat and the Swamp Witch were shrouded in ethereal green mist, raised several feet in the air, and both floated for a moment. Then a brilliant green line appeared from the great cat's chin down its belly to its tail. The Wampus Cat's intact pelt was lifted, rotated, and flown and placed on the Swamp Witch's head and shoulders. Esme looked like a small child struggling in an oversized quilt as she got set back on the ground. Esme and Jasper were running and slipped in the mud, the great cat pelt dragging behind Esme. The moment they embraced, they were shrouded in ethereal green mist and raised high in the air. Time was erased from Esme and Jasper's bodies, and the former glory of their youth was restored. Then 2 brilliant green lines appeared on the belly edges of the Wampus Cat pelt, and Esme and Jasper were sewn up inside. The green light from the line was extinguished, and the Wampus Cat was lowered to the ground, where it immediately started roaring, thrashing, flipping upside down, and chasing its tail until it crashed away back into the darkness of the southern Nicky Bog swamp. "Pity," said a voice. "I always liked those 2. For their sake, I hope they get the hang of it soon." "Those 2?" said another voice. "She took off your arm." "Still," said the first voice. With that, the nameless duo took flight and left Earth 2, headed for somewhere light years from anywhere. Inside the Frank Lloyd Wright house, Jane had Lucas in a standing full-body embrace with one arm around his shoulder, one arm around his ribcage, with her hands clasped behind his back. One of Jane's legs was long and straight down, while the other was wrapped around Lucas's hamstrings. Jane was also literally flying, rather hovering, while holding Lucas in the living room. Forehead to forehead, looking very serious, Jane said, "Babe, repeat after me. We are never moving to Florida." Somewhere, light years from anywhere, the Mason and Doug had just finished their game of hyperplane chess, and the heavens had new stars. At that moment, 6 androids all gasped and sat up from the Mason's cooking pot. Suddenly, Doug asked, "Who is that?" Twin blue streaks were flying in the far distance, headed for them very quickly. "You have got to be kidding me," said Doug. The twin blue streaks changed trajectory and accelerated toward Doug, harpooning him, causing the trio to careen out of control until eventually, rolling and rolling, it stopped. "Dad! Dad!" Doug was overjoyed as he said, "Felix! Felicity! How was your cat adventure? How are you? Girl, what happened to your arm?" "Dad, it's a long story," explained Felicity. The Mason stood a distance away and set off fireworks and shouted, "What up, cuz? Mason!" When everyone was settled, the Mason said, "Guys, you've got to see this." The Mason snapped his fingers and the 6 androids formed a follow-the-leader straight line, linking hands like relay baton runners. Echo was first, then Bijou, then Aquan, then Bubblegum, then Inferno, and finally Lignius. The Mason said, "Comic books. Who likes comic books?" On easy mode. And then, having formed the cosmic projector, the 6 cosmic androids began playing as a show the Mason's comic books.